Well, today's message is, I'm talking about beyond wealth. This is the title of today's talk. But I'm going to be doing 4 or maybe even 5 talks about developing the consciousness of prosperity. So I want to ask you a question. Which is normal, prosperity or poverty? Prosperity, yeah. Poverty is abnormal. Prosperity is normal. Now, what causes prosperity? What causes poverty? Yeah, the same thing, doesn't it? Boy, we got a lot of smart people here. Maybe you don't need this. But there is only one answer for both questions, aren't there? Prosperity and poverty are both caused by the way we think and the way we believe. Now, most people would probably dispute this from what we see on the streets, because we do seem to see an awful lot of poverty around. People are struggling to make it, especially these days, in these days of recession and whatever. But it does seem as if most of the world is poor. And don't you get those emails that tell you that if you have clothes on your back, shoes to wear, and especially 3 meals a day, that you are among the 5% of the world? The rest of the world doesn't have all of these things. And those emails do a good thing, don't they? Because they remind us that we should be grateful for what we already have. But they also remind us not to forget those people, because even if they are living in ignorance about who they are, we need to help them, maybe first of all understand, teach them and feed them at the same time. But you know, most of the world does believe that poverty is the norm. It's a fact of life, and we will all, didn't Jesus say, well, the poor you will always have with you, so give your money to me? No, he didn't say that. That's what most ministers say, though. We'll always have poverty, so give your money to me. So why do they believe that most people are always poor, though? Because they truly believe that our resources are limited. Now, no matter what we believe, the truth is that our resources are not limited. No matter what the story is, there is infinite abundance everywhere. They'll say, okay, all right, I'll go with that. But it's distribution. We can't distribute those resources to everyone. Well, that's not true either, is it? We can do anything we believe that we can do. So, of course, we can distribute the resources. However, what most people do not understand or know or practice is that everyone lives by spiritual laws. You say, you live by a spiritual law? They go, huh? What's a spiritual law? You know, they look puzzled and confused when you tell them. They say, I'm not religious, sorry. But that's not what we mean. We mean that spiritual laws are the unseen forces of the universe that operates the universe, and that we live by, we think by, we speak by. It creates everything in our experience. Now, whether you're religious or not, it doesn't matter. You are the presence of this universal principle of creativity that you use every time you think. Now, we know that, don't we? Most of us know that. We're thinking into a law. And now, even if we're not aware of this, and as maybe 95% of the world is not aware, they're still using this law, aren't they? And if you're unaware, you're using this law, not for your benefit, but maybe to your detriment. Because what are we thinking most of the time? Most of the time, we're caught up in the negativity that we see around us, because we're judging by the senses, by hearing, seeing, tasting, touching. If the world looks negative, that's what it is. That's the fact, isn't it? So if you don't know how life works, you may believe that poverty is the norm and that you were born into poverty and there's nothing you can do about it. If you're ignorant of this, if you were born into poverty, you may not have believed. I doubt if any of you here believe that, but you may not have believed that there was anything you could ever do about it. And so you live your life without a sense of purpose. You may never set any goals for yourself. You may never expect to get any satisfaction at all from your life. That's just the way it is. Scramble and scramble for your living. Scramble to get the necessities. So the life principle I'm talking about today, though, has been known for centuries. Did you know that? It's been known for thousands of years that there is a principle into which we think and into which all of our beliefs are fed and our lives are created. Do you remember The Secret a few years ago? They said, they started off with this very esoteric darkness starting. There's a secret that they've been keeping from you for all of these years, that these few people did their best to keep these laws hidden from you. And so if you don't know how your life works, you're working in the dark. That was the suggestion of this movie and the book. So you are dependent, if you don't know that you're working by spiritual principles, you're dependent on the people who do know. So those few people who know have the power, don't they? And you can be controlled and used, manipulated by fear and superstition and of course by religion if you don't know these laws, because you think they have some secret to life that you don't have. And they do. They do. But of course we've awakened since then. And history reveals to us, though, that the majority of people have been used to serve the purposes of a few people because of that ignorance. And if 95% of the people today live in poverty, then there is still ignorance going on, isn't there? And there's a necessity for us to be here and to wake people up to the truth that they are using a spiritual law that can prosper them, and that it's nature to prosper them. So to understand the principle of life is then to liberate yourself from fear, superstition, manipulation, being under the power of a few people. So if you're aware that you're born with this principle, how many here were aware when they were born that you had this principle? Nobody, right? I didn't know it either. I didn't know it. But we all came here with this principle as a part of our nature. And then when we learn about it, this truth sets us free, doesn't it? To serve our highest goods. And then we are really free because we know we learn how we're thinking, how we're acting, and we act according to the nature of this principle. And I'm going to get into that in a minute. So it will always serve your highest good if you use it according to its nature. So what is this nature, the nature of this principle? Well, it's abundance, it's order, it's harmony, it's peace, it's joy, it's satisfaction, it's wholeness and health, it's beauty, it's all of those good things that we all treasure and revere, isn't it? That's when we align ourselves with those qualities one at a time or all at once, we are living according to its nature. So, on the other hand, many people are using this law, this one creative law that we all live by, against its nature. They're contradicting its nature, and so they're using it to kill, to injure, to steal, take things from people. But the interesting thing that happens is this law is a law that rebounds or boomerangs and brings back to you the quality of the thought or the action that you put in there. So people think they're being punished by God, but they're actually experiencing the consequences of their own thoughts. Now, physicists tell us that there is only one power and only one substance that all of us are using all the time. They call it intelligent energy that we think into, and it takes on the form and nature of our thoughts and our beliefs. So prosperity then, through and through, is thinking into that intelligent energy in a prosperous way. Poverty is thinking into that intelligent energy in a negative way, isn't it? It's that simple. We can reduce it to that. So if we're aware that we're thinking and using a creative principle, we can increase our consciousness of wealth and manifest abundance. Maybe it's gradual. Some people do it right away. But we have to develop a consciousness of it. So that's the point of these 4 or maybe 5 talks, if it takes that much, is to work on our consciousness of abundance, to get rid of the ideas that may be standing in our way. Because even if you have enough right now, don't you want a little bit more? Doesn't everybody here want just a little bit more? Yeah, I mean, my family always believed that we'd just get by. And you know what? We just got by. Now, my husband, David, he always says, we'll always have enough. And you know what? We always had enough. But I thought we should have more than enough. Like Mae West said, too much of a good thing is wonderful. I love that, don't you? So, what does prosperity mean to you? What does it mean to you at a fundamental level? You know, it's important for you to know that. We need to know what it looks like in our lives. Now, I came to a definition of what prosperity means to me. It means that I'm at peace with myself and that I'm free to do whatever I'd like to do whenever I wish to do it. That, to me, is prosperity. You see, it doesn't have to do with money so much, but money is a part of that. But it means that I am free, that I'm never bound or limited by anything, so I can do what I need to do and what I like to do. I grew up in a family of very limited means. And by that, I mean, we didn't have a lot of money. My father worked in a brick plant, and my mother worked in a sewing factory. She sewed day after day. Both worked very hard for the money they earned. But as I look back and measure my family by my definition of prosperity that I later came to, I realized that my family was, in fact, quite prosperous. You know, they worked hard, they didn't have a lot of money, and yet, if any of us wished to have something, sooner or later we had that something because we would save up for it. We never went into debt for anything. If we wanted something, we saved up for it, whether it was a toy or a bicycle, an appliance, and we had it. We had it sooner or later. Maybe our imaginations weren't too big. We didn't ask for great big things like kids do today. Oh my goodness, I'm so glad I don't have kids. But I always had plenty of nice clothes and all kinds of things that my mother made me, and later she would give me a little allowance for a wardrobe, and I always had coins for treats after school, and I had all the school supplies that I needed, and I was never denied any necessities, and I even had a few unnecessary luxuries. And in school I won awards and trips, so life was always kind of full of surprises. Don't you love that when you are always looking forward to life, that you anticipate good things all the time? That's really been my feeling of prosperity too, that there are always wonderful things in store. I don't think I could live without that idea. Something wonderful is about to happen. Something wonderful is coming into my life. But I also nurtured a grand ambition, and I kept my eye on that goal until I attained it. And I was already living by this creative principle, although I didn't really know it. I didn't understand that there was a creative principle. So prosperity then, for me, and I'm sure this pretty much fits for you too, is living without limitation. Prosperity is an active thing. It's something that is ongoing all the time. It's happening all the time. It's demand and supply. We think of it as supply and demand, but it's really making our demand on it and then receiving it. And if we make our demand realizing that we are the power, we're the presence of the power, we're going to receive that prosperity sooner or later. You see, prosperity is not just money, is it? Prosperity is a rich and wonderful and free life in every way. Being free of all of those demons and things that haunt us. Being free to go and do what we love to do. So money is only one aspect of prosperity. And we'll be talking about money too during this month. But prosperity, at its very basic, is a spiritual idea. It's a spiritual idea. It's love in action. And both Judies mentioned this in their treatments. Spirit gives itself into action, into being, as every form, as everything that exists. So this is a constant givingness that comes at our demand. So it is up to us to make our demand on Spirit, love, to give us the prosperity that we can develop the consciousness of.